Chronological Bible in a Year, day 197. We are back in Isaiah today, and we're beginning to see a bunch of pronouncements against various nations. But I want to focus on something read here in chapter 17, starting in verse 7. On that day, people will look to their Maker and will turn their eyes to the Holy One of Israel. They will not look to the altars they made with their hands or to the Asherahs and the shrines they made with their fingers. On that day, their strong cities will be like the abandoned woods and mountaintops that were abandoned because of the Israelites. There will be devastation. For you have forgotten the God of your salvation. You have failed to remember the rock of your strength. Therefore, you will plant beautiful plants and set out cuttings from exotic vines. And he goes on to say, and they will grow and then they will die. The idea here being we were supposed to follow God, but then we grafted little things in here and there. You might be able to make some fancy fruit by grafting different things together and cross-pollinating, but you don't make a fancy religion, you make a false one when you try that. Early on in this series, I would mention that as I read the Bible, I love to ask three questions. What does this tell me about God? What does this tell me about humanity? And how should we live in light of those truths? I applied that as I was reading these passages, and about God, this shows us his justice. He's set laws in motion. He is the pinnacle. What he is moral. And as people break that morality, he gives them the punishment they deserve. He does not withhold punishment forever. But then if you commit evil in punishing the wrongdoers, you yourself will find yourself now being punished. That's what a lot of this is telling us about. And then what does this tell us about us? Well, we are idolatrous and hedonistic. We turn to things other than God far too often because we worship that which brings us joy, pleasure, happiness, no matter how temporary and fleeting that is, when true joy is offered to us by the true God. So how should we live in light of these truths? We should be utterly repentant. We should purge ourselves of those idolatrous tendencies. We should say, what is that thing that tends to draw me away from God, and how can I rid it of myself? But if something is pulling me away, robbing me from God, I'm holding the knife by the sharp end. It's stupidity. I need to throw that in the trash. But let's think about that today. What are these things that might not be idols themselves, but can lead us to idolatry? Let's repent of those things and focus fully on God. I'm looking forward to continuing in Isaiah tomorrow, but until then, God bless.